every morning with drive. Being on the grind, know I had to survive. We had to win. Started from the dirt and the rubble. I had to be the needle that was popping your bubble.
Hello and welcome into the Rookie Prospect Profile Series. This is a Zilla Fantasy Elite production. If you've been enjoying this entire Rookie Prospect Profile Series, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. Today we're going to be looking at running back Ray Davis in both the RStudio model and the neural network model for running backs. Ray Davis was drafted number 128 in the 4th round of the NFL draft, and they were selected by the Buffalo Bills. They come into the league after playing college football at Temple, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Very interesting profile. He's the number 1 running back basically in all of these areas and succeeded pretty much in all of these areas. So kind of an interesting profile here. Looking at some of their physical traits, we can see that he comes in at 5'8", 211 pounds, which gives us a BMI of 32.1. He did run a 4.52 in the 40-yard dash and gives us a speed score of 101.1, which is pretty solid. Some of you might be wondering, I thought he was like 220 pounds, but getting these from the Player Profiler website, and they are taking these from the Combine, so he weighed in at 211 at the Combine. Maybe he plays a little bit heavier than that, but that's what we got for his particular physical traits. So putting these physical traits along with some of their college numbers in the RStudio model, and those are pretty good. He's got a 42.9 college dominator rating. Putting those into that RStudio model, we see he's got a pretty solid RStudio prospect score here of 14.355, which is 103rd overall out of the 327 running backs in the RStudio model's database. That is in the 68th percentile at 68.5% overall. Looking at the closest comparables for Ray Davis, we see that the closest comparable in the RStudio comparison model is Ty Montgomery. And then a little bit above that, we have Andre Brown, Brian Hill, Maurice Jones-Drew, Kenneth Dixon, and Zach Moss. A little bit below that, we have Duke Johnson, Tavon Austin, Samaje Perine, Aaron Jones, and Matt Jones. And just based off of these particular profiles, I do like the Duke Johnson comp for Ray Davis here. I think he's going to be one of those guys that, you know, if he ever got the lead role, we feel like he'd be pretty well with those particular opportunities. Similar with Duke Johnson, he just never got the opportunity to be the main back. So I do think Ray Davis has that in his repertoire. Duke Johnson also a pretty good receiving back. Ray Davis with an 11% college target share to his profile as well. All right, let's switch now to the machine learning model and see how Ray Davis looks in that model. Actually, we see here he does pretty well. He's ranked in between the 5th and 10th in the class in all of these particular outputs. So looking at that minimum rank, he is ranked 6th there at 7.36 fantasy points per game, basically saying the worst he could possibly do if given 80 opportunities in a season is 7.36 fantasy points. That mean and median at 11.65 and 11.28 ranked 7th and 10th respectively. Even though they're pretty close there, we got a lot of people jammed in that area, which isn't too bad of a output. And then the maximum at 18, that's a really good season. That's better than Devon A-Chain last year in terms of what he did in reality. And that is the 5th best maximum output in the class there for Ray Davis. So the neural network model likes him quite a bit. The RStudio model liked him quite a bit as well. So pretty interesting profile. Let's go look in terms of historical context, who is hovering in that 11.2 to 11.7 fantasy point per game range for their career best fantasy points per game. We actually have quite a few running backs that land in between 11.2 and 11.65. I'm just going to list off their names from the 11.2 all the way up to the 11.65. We have Charles Sims, J.K. Dobbins, Trey Mason, Carlos Williams, Ty Montgomery, Andre Brown, Alex Collins, Felix Jones, Salvan Ahmed, Gerald Williams, Jerick McKinnon, Jalen Warren, Matt Breida, Darren Sproles, and Sean Green. So that is quite a big list of people all hovering in that particular range. The maximum output he has at 18 flat. There's not a ton of people getting into that range, but I'll just go in between 17.85 and 18.5 fantasy points per game as their career best. Starting to get into names like Raheem Mostert, James Robinson in his rookie season, Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Peyton Hillis, and Noshawn Moreno. Some pretty good company there for those guys if we see Ray Davis hit his particular ceiling. So neural network model looking like it likes him. The RStudio model looking like it likes him as well. Those two usually conflict each other oftentimes unless they're a really good running back. So Ray Davis, maybe one of those guys that you're going to want to focus in on your rookie drafts or perhaps get him in your best ball drafts here this season, and maybe somebody that you can grab really late in your redraft leagues or your home leagues where you're taking him with the last pick, or just monitoring that waiver wire to see if that's somebody that's going to be sitting on the waivers in an opportunity where, unfortunately, somebody like James Cook would get injured. He would be looking like he'd probably do pretty well with his touches here based off of these two models. Hopefully the RStudio model and the machine learning model give you a little bit of additional confidence going into your draft rooms, selecting the right players once you get on the clock. All right, that's going to do it for today's rookie prospect profile on Ray Davis. This has been presented by Zilla Fantasy Elite. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.